Welcome travellers, you find yourselves once again in Majisto's workshop, where the fire is lit, the shelves are crowded with curiosities, and the winter market is in full swing. All 7 mocks featured in this video are my contribution to this month's Whimsy LEGO Quest, a collaborative LEGO building challenge that I started last year with St. Bricks. This time, throughout the advent calendar, we've been creating Christmas market stalls together with Wayfarer Bricks, reimagined through the lens of LEGO Castle. For my approach to the challenge, I wanted to stay firmly rooted in what made classic Castle so very special. That meant using popular factions from the 80s and the 90s, keeping the build small and full of character, and leaning heavily into the building styles of their era. Simple shapes, bold colours, and topping it off with a bit of lore and detail. So without further ado, let's take a close look at the 7 stalls that make up this medieval Christmas market. Just to put us all in the right mood, we begin with the music stall, run by a bard of the Black Falcon faction. One of the key creative decisions that I made here was staying authentic to the era. In the 80s and 90s, LEGO didn't really provide medieval instruments like lutes and guitars, so instead, the bard is using a shovel as his instrument. And sure, you may say, Majisto, it looks goofy, but look at these fans of live music. They don't mind it one bit. This kind of part substitution was a huge part of classic LEGO play. Pieces weren't defined by what they were meant to be, but by what you imagined them to be. Now the stall or the stage itself is made from wood, and it is a bit taller than the other stalls to include the banner of the Black Falcon Bard, and of course the faction's flag proudly presented at the very top. The fact that all these guys gathered under one stage only confirms that Christmas music brings people together by creating a shared sense of warmth, familiarity, even among those who don't have much else in common. It also confirms that you have to be really careful with Wolfpack bandits around you. And double check your pockets. Next up is the Armoury stall, operated by King Richard of the Royal Knights himself. This build focuses on craftsmanship and order. The stall displays the faction's flagship chrome longsword and the beautifully printed crested shield, presented clearly and proudly, reinforcing the Royal Knight's identity as disciplined and refined. One detail that I particularly wanted to highlight is the non-clip sword mount, which one of you picked up in the comments on Instagram. Rather than relying on modern clip-based techniques, I opted for an unconventional use of a familiar piece that was a staple of 90s castle building. Or just a ladder holder, if you will. I like to think the overall look is clean, balanced and unmistakably royal, mostly because of the blue roof, and of course because of King Richard. Such royalty and yet unaware what is going on behind this stall. Stall number 3 is a cheese stall, and it is run by a forestman. This build, again, heavily leans into the classic LEGO charm. The cheese is represented by just using yellow slopes and round bricks, keeping the design simple and instantly recognizable. The minifigure uses a diver's head, which you have picked up on Instagram already as well. A wonderfully old school LEGO choice that adds a bit of character without the need for fancy newly printed designs. Coincidentally, he's also equipped with a chrome silver dagger, another nod to the classic diver minifigures of the era. The stall features a blue roof just like the Royal Knights one, and the overall build is directly inspired by the Forestman era sets. Blue roof with just black elements, a shooting target and a bit of foliage, all classic elements of the Forestman era. The stall itself is also multi-purpose, as you probably noticed already. You can practice your bow skills on one side, and then help yourself to some real delicacies afterwards. Stall number 5 offers fine ale brewed by the Wolfpack bandits. Despite their reputation, the Outkeep is known for producing excellent ale, and the stall reflects that balance between quality and questionable trustworthiness, especially with that second Wolfpack bandit waiting for a good moment to hit the road. The build is intentionally different than the others and focused on the beer aspect of the stall. Even the Royal Knights need a break and can pop in for a fine pint of ale. I will let you make up the story here. Is the Wolfpack holding his earned gold coins, or maybe are they stolen? Is he being interviewed or serving a tired customer? Let me know in the comments. In number 5, the mulled wine stall run by Basil the Batlord. This build leans into a bit of a darker style, with some typical Fright Night elements, giving the stall a bit more ominous presence compared to the rest of the market. While it still fits the festive theme, there's an underlying sense that this stall might not be for everyone, especially with the skeleton, the trans-neon orange wings, and the bats on display. A few of you mentioned that it feels more unsettling or even Halloween-like than Christmassy, and I can't really disagree. We all know Basil has a very distinct character as the Batlord and leader of the Fright Knights. Hence the interest of the Dragon Masters. I'm sure my knights have a solid reason to bother this fine businessman. Same goes for that spy lurking in the bushes. Next up is the baked goods stall run by Willa the Witch. At first glance, this stall looks warm and inviting, as it would with any witch. But look a little closer. It's Willa and her pie. I mean, the one she's got baking. Never mind. Much like Basil's wine, I would probably skip the food here this year, but the choice is entirely yours, of course. They may look tasty, but surely you would expect some unwanted symptoms post-consumption. I have also decided to include a twist on Willa's classic oven from the small set 2872. If you do decide to try the pie, I'd recommend stopping by the next stall afterwards. And finally, we arrived at the gift stall run by Majisto himself, or myself in this case. This stall offers magical souvenirs of all kind. Enlarging potions, flight scrolls, jewels to imbue your weapon with, and enchanted items for passing travelers. The build is intentionally cluttered, with lots of small elements packed into a tight space, reflecting the chaotic and mysterious nature of a wizard's workspace. Exactly what you'd expect from a true wizard, right? And since the stall is very popular among the wrong crowd, it was beneficial to have the Dragon Master Knights on the lookout somewhere in the background. This fella, for example, is considering buying a shrinking potion for some reason. Can't remember the last time I sold one of those, to be honest. Just hope he makes really good use of it. Oh, and my owl is here as well, keeping watch from above, just as a small homage to the Dragon Masters sets that featured the Majisto minifigure. No word of a lie, this challenge was a great reminder of how effective small builds with strong character can be. By limiting scale and sticking to classic techniques, each stall feels cohesive while still allowing its faction's personality to really shine. A very special thank you to the co-host of this month's Whimsy LEGO Quest building challenge, Wayfarer Bricks, who created his own equivalent versions of each of these stalls. You can find those builds and much more of his intense work over on Instagram at Wayfarer Bricks. If you've enjoyed this build challenge, consider subscribing and ringing the bell so you don't miss future uploads. You can also find more of my work on Instagram at majistos.workshop and on Rebrickable, where I share free instructions for some of my mocks. And if you'd like to support the workshop, feel free to buy me a coffee or a magical potion on Ko-Fi. Finally, if you'd like to see more builds from this challenge, be sure to follow the hashtag WhimsyLegoQuest on Instagram. You'll find a wide range of creative interpretations of this month's theme, all from builders approaching it in their own unique way. The Whimsy LEGO Quest runs every month, so if you didn't manage to take part in December, there's always another opportunity just around the corner. Make sure to join the challenge in January and add your own build to the quest. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year everyone. Hope your stockings will be filled with colourful plastic pieces that you dreamt of all year. I know mine will. Well, at least I hope so. Well, that's being hopeful. Anyways, remember, build with Majisto.